So in this part we will be adding the reflection of the sky on the window. So casting this will help make it more realistic and make your building fit in the scene around it. So to begin with, let's start with the photo embedded or place embedded the photo. I'm going to choose the same photo with the sky on it. I'm going to make it bigger. However, one thing, and click enter, it's still a smart object, so do not use, you cannot actually use any tool like eraser or brush. Again, I recommend keeping it as a smart object. And now I'm going to change its perspective. It's very important that you change the perspective using the show transformation control. So make sure this is checked, and then you'll be able to see the transformation control in here. Now if you click on control and any corner, you'll be able to change its perspective like that of the photo. So you'll be able to stretch the corner. Now this is what I mean by changing its perspective. I'm just going to make sure that it looks like it fits on the facade, so roughly does, because it is as we say, like we can see clearly it is sky, so I'm not like reflecting the buildings, but I need you to get used to this, because in case in future you have like buildings you want to cast on your facade, so to make sure that they are actually casting well, it's very important that you get used to learning changing the facade, the perspective. Again, we go to the material ID and use the magic wand. I'm going to select everything that's purple in one shade, making sure again nothing is checked and tolerance is like around 50 roughly. I click now on the sky that I've changed its perspective layer, and then I'm just going to one click on the mask, and then when I hide the external image material ID, I'll be able to see that my reflections now are masked here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply click overlay, and that will help defining, sorry, they changed, defining my sky in here. So the good thing again about using mask is like when you unchain it, you'll be able to move the photo around, maybe even make it bigger, so that will all help you explore where do you prefer your reflection to be at. Now because we selected all the color, all the glass ones, so we can see that every piece has a reflection which is orange, and converted this to like mixing better with the scenery around it. The same method applies to changing building material, exactly the same one as casting the photo or let's say the sky reflection thing. So I will go again to place embedded, and actually I will choose the concrete material that I have here. Again, when it comes to place embedded, it shows this X on it. That means it is a smart object, so I'm just going to click enter, and it has now the smart object icon on it. Clicking on the move and the show transformation control, you'll be able to actually change its perspective. Now again, this is very important that you do this for materials. Now this is a concrete photo, so probably the perspective is not as important as when it's a brick, but you can roughly make it in the same perspective that you want it to be, and make sure that it actually covers the whole wall that you want to change. After doing this, I'm just going to move it and layer it on the wall and click enter. Then I'm showing the ID image for materials, and using the magic wand I will click or select everything that's green. It doesn't matter if it selects a few things that are far from the image that I am actually going to mask. So I will click on this layer 62, which is a concrete photo, and I'm going to click on mask. And now I see that mask layer has been created here. So if I hide it, if I hide the ID photo, I will have the material casted on my wall. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to click on multiply. It's like a little bit dark, so probably overlay is more defined. And if I zoom in, I'll be able to show you that it actually worked pretty well. If this is like a little dark and it's not showing the image around it, I can still like unchain it and move it a little bit to make sure that it shows, and that's about it for changing the material. Now, the same way we casted this on this wall, we can do that for all the walls around in this building. So that's why I'm not going to show you one by one in this part. So in the second part, I will be explaining to you how we can add the mountain and the trees in the photo.